Want to marry a woman nearing 40 who demands the house, her husband's salary card, and even his parents' income. Is that love, or just a list of terms? A young woman appears on camera. Her tone is firm, almost incredulous. Everything was agreed upon. A dowry of 200,000 yuan, the wedding date, all the details. But when I asked for one small condition, control over my boyfriend's salary card, his parents' cards, and the house deed in my name, he called me and canceled everything. Was my request really that outrageous? That's how one of the most discussed videos of the week begins in China, racking up millions of views on Douyin, China's version of TikTok. A story that might seem like satire in another setting has sparked a heated debate on marriage expectations in the world's most populous country, especially around a growing group, single women over the age of 30. This phenomenon has a name: leftover women. A controversial but commonly used term in Chinese public and academic discourse. It refers to urban women who are highly educated, financially independent, and often possess the physical and cultural attributes society deems attractive, yet many remain single. The reason? Some say they can't find a partner who meets their standards. Others claim their demands are simply too high. According to the 2024 China Statistical Yearbook, cities like Beijing and Shanghai each have over 2 million single women of so-called marriageable age. Beijing alone counts 2.23 million. Shanghai, 2.09 million. From the male perspective, the reasons for not marrying are also heavily shaped by socioeconomic context. A job market crisis, the rising cost of living, and above all, the belief that marriage brings unbearable financial pressure. Meanwhile, the pressure on women persists. The expectation to marry before 30 hasn't completely disappeared, even though many women today choose to prioritize their careers, education, and financial autonomy. The data confirms it. According to a study by the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences, for every academic level a woman attains, her average age at first marriage increases by 1 year. Maybe many people don't see the value of older single women. We're written off just because of age. For example, I have a master's degree, 2 apartments, 2 cars, and I was earning 300,000 yuan a year. But beyond that, I'm smart, hardworking, and I can endure tough times. If my partner wants to start a business, I can support him. If he's already successful, I can take care of the home. I speak 2 languages and can educate our children well. I'm good at housework. I'm not great at cooking, but I'm willing to learn. I feel that even if I'm not young, my overall value is still high. So, why does no one choose me? Another viral Douyin video portrays an even harsher truth. Many women aren't just delaying marriage. They're avoiding it altogether, afraid of the emotional and financial consequences that may come with it. I'm 39 and unmarried because I'm afraid. What would life look like after that? How would I raise children? With what money? I don't feel confident that I could raise a child on my own. If you don't have financial stability, you shouldn't have children. Nowadays, without money, you can't move. Raising a child is expensive from the start. Prenatal checkups, delivery, then daycare, swimming lessons, piano. Everything costs money. And if you can't offer them something better, you're condemning them to a harder life. A child without resources could face a fate worse than your own. The dowry remains a widespread practice, though the expectations and amounts vary widely by region. I'm 35, and people still ask if I expect a dowry. In my city, it ranges between 80,000 and 120,000 yuan. But if the man is truly worth it, I'd accept even 50,000. Normally, you wouldn't go below 80,000. But if I genuinely feel he deserves it, I could forego it. For me, what matters is how he treats me. My parents are very reasonable. They think the dowry is just a formal gesture. Often the money goes back to the couple. Since I was little, my mother taught me, what matters is the person, not the money. Leftover women are neither rare nor anecdotal. They're the reflection of a profound transformation in Chinese society. With more education, more independence, and a clearer sense of what they want and what they won't tolerate, many women refuse to settle for unequal relationships or marriages that erase them. And that stance, far from being celebrated, still deeply unsettles a society that equates a woman's value with youth, obedience, and motherhood. The numbers show that traditional family models no longer fit as they used to. More and more women are setting terms that would have been unthinkable just a decade ago. Control over the husband's income, sole ownership of property, economic clauses, even the complete refusal to have children due to lack of security. Are these excessive demands, or simply forms of protection in a social, emotional, and financial environment that doesn't play in their favor? One thing is certain, marriage in China is no longer what it used to be, and many women are no longer willing to accept what once was seen as normal. In our next report, we'll meet women who've chosen to become single mothers, in a country where doing so could cost them their jobs, their status, and even legal recognition of their own child. And later, we'll explore a more radical trend, the rise of no marriage, no kids, and no partner, ever. In the first video, we explored how more and more Chinese women are rejecting a life path that confines them to being obedient wives and mothers. Now, we dive deeper into this social transformation through first-hand testimonies, striking official data, and a changing landscape where traditional marriage no longer aligns with women's new aspirations. Do you know why girls today don't want to get married anymore? I'll tell you, because they're done serving one ancestor after another. They already have houses, cars, savings. Why do they need a man? Are they missing a father figure? Look at these men. They want a woman to care for them like a mother, but they don't even know how to behave like respectful sons. They want a wife who's as obedient as a daughter, but they can't protect like a father. And if we don't want to get married, then we don't. I have zero intention of getting married or having kids. I'm way too happy on my own. I can't picture myself trapped in that family mess with all its obligations. Now, I live freely. If I want to work, I work. If not, I rest. If I want to travel, I go. If I want to buy something, I do. That's simple. These kinds of statements are no longer rare on Chinese social media. They reflect a generation of women who, thanks to economic independence, higher education, and exposure to new ideas, no longer see marriage as a necessity, and often not even as a good option. Despite aggressive government policies aimed at promoting marriage and boosting birth rates, the official numbers speak for themselves. In 2024, only 6.1 million marriages were registered, the lowest figure in half a century. That's a 20.5% drop in just 1 year compared to 2023. Meanwhile, divorces are on the rise. 2.6 million couples legally ended their marriages in the same year. Why don't more girls in Xinjiang want to get married? Because young people today live for themselves. What matters to them is their own happiness. They're not going to marry someone they don't love just because their parents say so. And women today, in many ways, are outperforming men. They know how to take care of themselves, they have more skills, they earn more. Financially, women are already ahead of many men. This rejection of marriage isn't limited to the youngest generations. Even people born in the 1980s, once considered more traditional, are starting to change their views. What's shocking isn't that people born in the 1990s don't want kids, or that the 2000s generation won't marry. It's that even those born in the 1980s now support that decision. Especially after Lunar New Year, with the new marriage law, more and more people are saying they don't want to enter that so-called sacred institution. You know why? Because even if you cook well, scrub the house until it shines, raise the kids till you drop, if you don't earn income, after a divorce, you're left with nothing. At the same time, many single women are opting for a minimalist lifestyle, less consumerist, but freer and more stable. I'm 28, never married, never had a partner. I live alone in Shenzhen. I earn 7,000 yuan a month and save 4,500. I love this low desire life. I live on 2,500 yuan a month. That includes rent, electricity, water. How do I do it? I track my spending. I don't spend more than 40 yuan a day on food. Today I worked an hour and a half overtime and got home at 8. I had dinner with leftovers from the fridge. I rarely buy clothes or makeup. I've cut out unnecessary outings and shallow entertainment. Getting married at 60. A new trend? Amidst all the cynicism and irony, some are even suggesting to simply delay marriage for decades. Nowadays, young people don't want to marry. They say it's too expensive, too stressful. I recommend they wait until after 60 to tie the knot. You know why? First, by then, you'll have some savings and less financial pressure. Second, you'll qualify for social assistance. Third, you don't need to have kids anymore. A generation walking away from the marriage dream. There are many reasons to avoid marriage. Unemployment, low salaries, impossible expectations, sky-high housing prices, and the pressure of dowries in rural areas. In many cases, marriage means draining the savings of 2 generations to pay for the wedding and buy a home. But more than anything, there's a growing sense that marriage, as it currently exists, brings more risk than stability. And in a country where more than 70% of people over 25 are single, and where the single population is set to hit 300 million, it's clear this is not a passing trend. It's a deep social transformation. What comes after rejecting marriage? Choosing not to marry doesn't mean giving up on love or companionship. For many women, it simply means reclaiming control over their time, their emotions, and their futures. Marriage, as we knew it, is in crisis, and unless it changes, more and more women may walk away from it entirely. But behind these personal choices lies an economic backdrop, a reality that's becoming increasingly harsh, one that's pushing not just women, but an entire generation to reconsider the traditional life model. Wuhan's hidden crisis, soaring debt, silent struggles, and the rise of China's new poor. Mass layoffs, military trucks, vanishing crowds, the alarming signs of a capital in crisis. Dragon Boat Festival turns into Dragon Boat robbery. Once a celebration, now an economic warning. Once a symbol of China's urban vitality and central planning ambitions, Wuhan is now facing a sobering economic downturn. Behind the city's modern skyline lies a growing crisis, spiraling personal debt, disappearing small businesses, and a new social class of extreme consumers who appear affluent but are quietly drowning in liabilities. I'm based in Wuhan. In just 2 months, a breakfast shop that had operated near my home for over a decade shut down. The same happened near my mother's place. Imagine a place you've visited daily, gone overnight. The reason? Rising rents, unaffordable labor costs, and dwindling customer traffic. And the once thriving Sixin Wanda Plaza? Less than a third of its businesses remain open. I used to think online chatter about economic hardship was exaggerated, until I saw it happening around me. Now, I hesitate before spending a dime, unsure if tomorrow will bring any income. At Panhai Wanda, once billed as Wuhan CBD, the situation is grim. Apartments that once sold for nearly 40,000 yuan per square meter have seen their value halved. The shopping district is eerily empty. During dinner at a coconut chicken restaurant, just one worker handled everything: cooking, serving, and cleaning. The surrounding shops, mostly shuttered. In an economy like this, even scraping together pennies feels impossible. More budget haircut shops are popping up, charging as little as 5 to 10 yuan. Nationwide, movie box office revenue has plunged by 40% this year. Meanwhile, low-cost platforms like Pinduoduo are outperforming giants like Alibaba and JD.com, highlighting a broader consumption downgrade. A new phrase has emerged online: extreme consumption, the bare minimum spending required just to survive. Unless something changes, 60% of Wuhan's small business owners may not make it through the next few years. That's not hyperbole. Just look at the spring labor market. Many people in rural areas haven't even left home to work. In the past, 5 people could eat 10 bowls of rice. Now, 10 people share just 2. Stroll down the city's commercial streets and count how many shops are still open. As the physical economy declines, consumption will only sink further. Many entrepreneurs are already at their limit. So how do we fix this? Why does Wuhan's economy feel worse than that of smaller cities? The population seems to be shrinking, rental listings are growing, and vacancies are widespread. Why are so many leaving? Wasn't Wuhan supposed to be a hub for development and opportunity? Locals can no longer keep up the facade. Beneath the city's surface, glamour lies a troubling truth. Every morning and evening, traffic jams make roads look like parking lots. Shopping districts are crowded, but wallets are empty. A typical salary is just over 4,000 yuan, yet mortgages and car payments exceed 10,000. Credit cards are maxed out. Even major employers are laying off staff and slashing wages. These days, it's common for people in Wuhan to carry at least 200,000 to 300,000 yuan in debt. Some young people risk being blacklisted by online lenders. It's a terrifying number. While entire industries struggle to survive, online discussions have introduced two haunting terms: extreme consumption and the new poor. In Wuhan, the new poor are everywhere. They seem well off. Nice clothes, expensive cars, but they're broke. They rely on credit platforms like Huabei just to get by. Some drive cars worth hundreds of thousands, but can't afford 300 yuan for gas. In the past, poverty was visible. Today, it's hidden behind carefully curated social media posts. You'll see photos of seafood buffets, followed by instant noodles the next day, often without an egg. Incomes may look stable on paper, but the money's already gone. Mortgages, loans, gifts, social obligations. Some are still buying Estée Lauder for their girlfriends, on credit. In short, people are stretched thin, and many are on the brink. For families who bought properties at inflated prices in recent years, the pain is even deeper. As housing prices fall and incomes shrink, many now face the harsh reality of negative equity, owing more than their homes are worth. Some have gone bankrupt. Even selling the house, one resident noted, won't cover what we still owe the bank. Wuhan's struggle is more than just an economic downturn. It's a warning. When the illusion of prosperity cracks, what's left is a generation buried in debt, chasing survival in silence. As China pushes forward with its national narrative of growth, cities like Wuhan are revealing the human cost behind the facade. The question now is, how long can the mask hold before the cracks collapse?